Hi, I'm Amy Brawny. I'm a food blogger, and I'm here to tell you that in the event of an emergency, you can feed your family in a way that's both healthy and easy. So it is Emergency Preparedness Week, and in the event of an emergency, you will need to take care of your family for a minimum of 72 hours. To do that, you'll need things like a first aid kit, you'll need emergency blankets, you'll need a battery-operated flashlight. You'll also need food and water, and so canned goods is where it's at, and also some dry goods. We're going to use some canned goods today to make an emergency seafood stew, and then we're going to use some other canned goods and some granola bars to make a yummy dessert. So we'll start out by using our clams. Clams are a really good thing to have in your emergency kit because they're really high in iron, so if somebody in your family is injured or has lost some blood, iron is a really good, an iron-rich food is a really good thing to have. So we'll start by opening those. And the reason that I'm making this dish this way is that we're going to conserve resources by getting everything in the pan first and then heating it up. So you're not doing different stages of cooking. We're just going to go get it all in there and heat it all through. So we've got a can of clams. We've got a can of shrimp. If you don't want to have shrimp in your emergency kit, you could just, a can of tuna or a can of salmon or a can of chicken. Anything like that is good to have because you need to have some protein in there to keep your family going. Now I'm going to add some stewed diced tomatoes. So these are the ones that already have olive oil and herbs and stuff in them. To save yourself that extra step, because obviously in an emergency you're not going to have access to those kinds of luxuries. And we're going to put some crushed tomatoes. You want to make sure when you're storing these kinds of things that you don't use them if they're dented or bulging in any way, because it could be, they could have spoiled. But to make sure that when you need your emergency kit, it's safe to use, just replace it every year or so. Okay, so we've got everything in our pan here. We're going to make this sort of to feed 4, so you've got to feed your family of 4. And if you've got some water and you want to throw some water in this, that's fine too. I don't think it needs it, but you can do that if you want to thin it out to more of like a soup. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get the heat on. And literally all this needs is just to be heated through until you've got a little bit of a bubble going on. Alright, so our survival seafood stew is now bubbling, which means it's ready to eat. If you have bowls handy, use them. You may not. And if you don't, you could literally put this down on the picnic table for your family. Everybody grab a spoon and dig in. We have bowls, so we're going to use them now. This is really nice and thick. You're getting protein, you're getting vegetables, and you're also getting some fluid, which is really important in an emergency. So we've got our clams in there, we've got some shrimp, tomatoes, some tomatoes that are already seasoned, and foraging in the backyard. I have some fresh chives. We're just going to rip some of those up, throw them in there, make it look interesting. Food is so closely connected to mood. And it's a good way, if you can feed your family well in an emergency, it's a good way to keep everybody calm and content until help arrives. So there we go. There's our survival seafood stew. Enjoy.